Hello, thank you for joining me. My name is Daniela. Today I would like to talk to you about signs from heaven, from our loved ones and the angels. This was a topic. Thank you for people suggesting that I do a video on this. I think it's really important because this is truly our personal experience with a loved one that makes us believe that they still exist. And one person, hopefully you'll recognize yourself, is finding hair ties. And she knows that, like in her heart, that's from her dad. And that's a key element. It's not what you're finding, but though it does have significance, but it's that you know in your heart, in your gut, that that's from your loved one. I know someone else, one of my sisters finds dimes all the time. And she knows that they're from my mom. And the funny thing is, my mom used to have a saying, especially with that sister with dimes, and I just find it hilarious that out of 3 sisters, that's the only one that I know of that finds dimes. I don't either. I don't find dimes. But for me, I knew it was my mom when I caught myself belting out a song at the top of my lungs in my home when I knew somebody else was in the house, and that was very out of character at that time for me. And it was a song from when I was a preschooler that my mom used to sing in a car when she'd hear it on the radio. And it just is definitely not my style. You know, that particular song. I never sang it in all these years. And I just, as soon as I hear, I'm like, why am I singing this? And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's my mom. And it was many years after she passed. She had to work hard to get my attention. Someone else said that they are finding feathers. That's huge. A lot of times from the other side, you'll see a sign of feathers. For me, when I find feathers, that's my angels. Like when I'm going through difficult times, they'll let me know that we're here. You're not going through this alone. And I've heard from people, I've had this experience in other people, that it's a closed room. You don't have feather pillows or comforters or anything like that, and you'll find feathers inside your home. I've had that experience. Everywhere I walk, it seems like I'm always finding feathers. But one person knows that it's a loved one that she keeps, it's since that person died, she keeps coming across feathers. They use something that's special between either for them or between you. A common thing is seeing a red bird. And it's funny, especially during the winter months, like people have spotted them when there's snow on the ground and they really shouldn't be there. And they know it's their loved one. So it could be birds. One person said when they saw 2 hawks flying together, they came very close to her, and she knew that was a sign from her loved ones because it was a man, her son and his fiance, and she really felt it was them trying to make contact with her because they kept coming really close. And that's the other thing. Sometimes it's dragonflies, and again, you're not looking for signs like, oh, that's it, that's it. No, you have to feel it. Like you just know in your heart that's your loved one. And I was speaking with somebody earlier today. Okay. That reminded me of the reading that I gave. Her loved one was showing me how he sits on the bed still, and he's in the bed with her, and she, like, I never met this woman, and she validated, yes, that's true. She feels movement in the bed all the time, but he showed me, like, as he sits down, like, there's actually a dent, you know what I mean? So that's really, like, sometimes it's symbols, and other times it's just them reaching out. You know, you'll hear different sounds, tapping or whatever. The electricity is not a steady flow, it goes higher, lower, higher, lower. It could be hearing a particular song on the radio. I knew someone that every time he heard a particular song, he thought of his loved one. Like, I'm telling you, I had a song in my head after my dad passed. It had been months and it was days, and I kept hearing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." And so weird. I'm like, why am I hearing this song constantly? And again, it was so predominant in my thoughts that it came out of my mouth. My mom was driving, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Dad. He had been trying to get my attention for days. So they'll use a song, like you could hear it in your head or it's on the radio. You'll find things like, and it's a repeating thing. Like I said, my sister's always finding the dimes. someone else is always finding hair ties. There's something pertaining, like a special thing. Like my dad, every single day I'm seeing 6:05. His birthday was June 5th. Whether it's the time on the clock, a receipt, it doesn't matter. I see his birthday brought to my attention daily. And it makes me happy. You know what I mean? It's a very pleasant thing for me that he's constantly reaching out to me. Even recently, after I adopted 2 puppies, one in April, one in May, I was hearing somebody in the home whistling. Then I heard humming, and my father was big into both of those things. I heard somebody like moving pots and pans in the kitchen, and each time I would come out of my bedroom thinking that somebody was here and I was home alone, like I just assumed people came home. And it was him trying to get my attention. Once, and he kept putting my son's light on and off when I was the only one here because my family was in Japan. And it was a little unnerving. And I'm like, Dad, if that's you, can you please stop playing with the electricity? Stop messing with the lamp in my son's room. I know that you're here. After that, not once did that lamp go back on. So you can tell them to back it up a little bit. But finding things that I love, like finding the feathers, I'm trying to think. You'll feel them, like if you had a special ritual, say with your grandmother or something, your mother baking cookies around the holidays, whatever it may be, you'll feel their presence with you as you're going through that ritual. It's a very loving feeling. For me, it is. So if anybody else has any ideas about what you would like me to do a video on, please let me know, bring it to my attention. But I hope this helps you to realize that you really are receiving signs from your loved ones on the other side. It's not your imagination. I'm just asking you to be open to receive because they work really hard to get our attention. But I'm also asking you, don't think every little thing, oh, that's them, oh, that's them. There are some people that are trying too hard to connect with their loved ones on the other side. You don't want to do that either. You'll feel it. It feels like your loved ones. Many blessings to you. If you liked the video, if you found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And if you would like some more spiritual guidance or, I don't know, just some information, please sign on to my YouTube, like become a subscriber. And I'd appreciate it if you would share my videos for anyone that you believe that could benefit from these, because when we lose someone, it really is a very tough experience. And sometimes a lot of times it stays with us for years and it can lower our vibration. But our loved ones on the other side, they don't want us to stay in grief. They don't want us to stay sad because that's not good for us, right? It's not good for our friends, our family, and just our spiritual growth. It's just not a good way to stay in that depressed mode. And I think that's why they try so hard to connect with us, to let us know they're okay, everything, you know what I mean? They're in a beautiful place. It's harder for us to exist here without them because they're still here. And what I notice is the more I connect with them, the easier it is for me to be here because I know they're alive and well and still with me. Many blessings to you. Namaste.